So you say you want to go from a hydraulic flat tappet cam to a hydraulic roller, but you don't know what to do about lifters. Well, today on Crawdaddy Customs, we're going to discuss that. Here we have the subject of today's video. So this is a factory GM lifter or factory replacement, one or the other. I'm not sure. It came out of my 455, but it looks like a stock cam that's in there and everything. So I'm assuming it's stock. It matches up to the next lifter, which is a Rhodes replacement. Rhodes, the oil bands are correct. They're in the correct spots on both of them. The Rhodes does have an extra band here, but that's irrelevant. It's fine. As you can see, the wear pattern down here on the lower part is way down, so obviously there's no clearance issues. The next we have, this is a, excuse me, I'm gonna read this real quick. This is an AC Delco HL118, which is also known as the 3.1, 3.4, 3.8 V6 roller lifter, and there's a lot of problems here. Okay, the oil band is way down here. The oil fill hole is up here, which we can work with, but it's short on the top up here where the dog bone would be, and the bottom is really, really low, so I'm not real comfortable with that. I don't care for that. Next we have, this is a Seal Power 2140, the HT 2148. Notice where the oil fill is, and that's actually, I'll show you a better picture in a moment, but it's actually directly in line across with this one. So this is going to work out real nicely. It's up slightly, but it's not an issue. And as you can see, compared to the V6 lifter, or the 3.4 lifter, this one has a lot more engagement area for the dog bones that we want to use. Now this one, I thought I was being smart, and this is supposed to be an Elgin
HL2148,
which should have been the same thing. When I looked at I'll show you the pictures, it'll make sense. The ad clearly says it's an Elgin HL2148, and you can see where the oil ports are. But when I received this product, it shows up in a plastic box with generic writing on it. So this is screaming China special here. Then you notice it's got the scalloped relief, and the oil fill holes way up here as compared to down here on the genuine Seal Power USA made lifter. Also, the lower oil band is lower, which contradictory what you might think. This oil band's not going to be our problem. If you're able to get a genuine Elgin HL2148 lifter, then this may be a viable alternative. I think they're the same thing. I mean, the part numbers are the same. The specs on the picture they showed looks exactly like this one. I'm sure it's just a matter of one's making it for the other, reboxing it type of thing. Now, which one is, I don't know. But I can tell you this, those are not Elgin lifters. So that's getting sent back. The reason why I showed you the Rhodes lifters, though, was right here. You notice they have a snap ring that retains them versus the typical little paperclip staple thing. Which, are you going to take it apart? I mean, is the lifter going to come apart on you? It's happened. So I don't know. I'd rather have the snap rings on there. So I have an idea for that, but we'll leave that for right now. Okay, so this is a Summit 2802 cam. This is the largest hydraulic that Summit offers, the hydraulic flat tap that they offer for a Pontiac. And as we come across there's very little room. Now, I'm going to show you, and it's kind of an optical illusion, obviously, depending on how, there it goes, a little bit how flat. There's a very, very thin gap there. I'm going to measure it with some feeler gauges just to show you. Referencing the same cam lobe, we're going to put a straight edge across the journals, right on top of the peak. And I'm going to go with a 10,000ths feeler gauge here. And I can't, there it goes, get it in there. Now I try a 12,000ths. and it's just slightly rubbing. So there's very, very little clearance between the top of this lobe and the cam journals as it passes through the tunnel. So obviously, this is going to be a set point for all of the cams, regardless of how much lift they have. There's another point of reference. This is a factory replacement Pontiac camshaft. And as you can see, the same thing. There's barely any clearance on the cam journal across the straight edge right there. It came out of the engine and it was used briefly. And if you look, you can see there's a little bit of gap right there. So once again, oops, we're back to that same thing with the 10, 12 thousandths. All cams, they're basically going to be up to the top as high as they can, and they're going to base everything else on the diameter of the base circle. Now it's the same game with our roller cam. If you look right here, there's just the tiniest little sliver of blue right there. So basically what they're doing is all the cams are peaking at the same spot, but down here at the base circle, if you make the circle larger, you're going to get more lift. That's why I was saying that if you were to take the same lobe, but you were to move it physically down, you could potentially use the LS/Elgin style lifters on one of these cams. But I think that's a lot of work when you could just get genuine Speed Pros and call it good. For this, we're going to be using, this is the number 6 intake. You notice there's a chamfer around the edge, which I wanted to use that because that's going to create a potential problem for us, as opposed to, let's see, okay, this, you notice that it's just straight. So due to the way they machined them, this could potentially cause problems. But first thing I need to do is how to bring the heel, or the nose of the cam up. So I want to come over here, and for those of you who are always looking, this is a Comp 4798, the crank socket. It says it's for a Ford, but it fits a big Ford, it fits a Pontiac, it fits a Buick. It's well worth the investment. So anyways, so let's put the lifters on. Let's see what happens. Okay, genuine sealed power. Let's see, HT2148. First thing I want to show you is right there, made in USA. Now we'll put the sealed power lifter. It's on the base circle on the heel of the cam. It's got room for days there. Now let's see how we're looking at the bottom. And now I'll give her a turn. That's about peak right there. I can tell you this, it's not grabbing in the oil fill port. That's a good thing. We got a fair amount of distance between here and there. And down here, there's lots of room. And here. And I'm going to let this guy go in. Now, this is the Elgin lifter. And we're on the very base. So same plan. Now we'll turn it. We'll go on the nose, right there's peak. It's there. And it's right here, and that would be the sound of the scribe dropping into the oil hole. So that already tells you what you're going to need to know. But we're going to take a look anyways. Okay, so as we come in, yeah, you can see it's exposed. So that's going to be a problem. That ain't going to work. Now for my third lifter, this is the GM, the 3.4 V6 lifter. So we're going to start it off on the peak of the cam, right there. And we'll scribe it. Okay. Huh. There's not even enough sticking out for me to scribe. This is just going to be a non-player. It's not going to work. There's too many. It sticks up a tad bit there, but when I compare it to, okay, so here is the sealed power lifter, and yeah, it's just not going to work. Let's watch. Here's the sealed power. There it is on the nose of the cam. Now it's back down. Now it's on the heel. This is on the nose, and it's sticking up almost as much as this. The 3.4 lifter is just not going to work. This is the one. The oil hole is small. It's right above the oil band. This is the one that I have high hopes for. So we'll go ahead and stick it in, and as you can see, there's the oil band on the top, and it dropped right below. So let's get a look at it inside that chamfered area there. Yep, it's down inside there still. I put some machinist blue, some Dicam, Prussian blue, whatever you want to call it, some layout fluid on this lifter. So what I'm going to do is put it in here, and right now, as you can tell, we're way down. We're on the heel of the cam. So what I'm going to do, try to scribe up in here best I can so that we can see where the very bottom of the lifter comes out. All right, now we'll go to the top. Okay, so now we're at the top. So now I'm going to try the same game. I'm going to try this offset scribe here because I think I can get down this hole better around that chamfer so that I can truly get the edge of where it's supposed to be at. So we'll see what it looks like. There we go. There's our one line, and there's our other. Those are our limits. So now let's compare them. We're good with the Speed Pro lifter. As far as the top end goes, on a chamfered hole, that oil band's not going to come out. Okay, now this is the Speed Pro, and this is really good news because this is our this is the lower oil band in the up position, and there's lots of room. This is it in the down, and look at the distance here. There's a good, over a quarter of an inch there. That's really incredible news. The oil band, the top of it's here, the oil fill port's here, and it's still below. And like I showed you in the other video when I went back through and rescribed this, it really didn't make too much of a difference as far as whether it was a chamfered oil hole or, a lifter bore or a straight cut lifter bore, because the hole, there's the line on it's pretty much the same. So it clears. It's close, but it ain't that close. There's a good bit of room. There's, I don't know if it's 1/8 of an inch or not. It might be, but there's some room. Looks like we've got a winner for the Pontiac folk out there. May work in Oldsmobiles too, who knows? As I was doing research for this, I found this photo on Performance Years that shows the old comp cams linked bar rollers versus the sealed power rollers. You can see that the sealed power, the oil band, is higher than the proven comps, so they will work.